Yeah, you got it all set up all nice.
Everyone's played this before,
think so,
probably,
but
but
do
you're
you mind if
welcome
I
to
see
play it
it?
again. I probably
Yeah, I
this
remember
one
this.
is probably not set up great at the moment, but
It feels amazing. You can't.
oh, I have the volume. Sorry, I was controlling your. Oh, look, check it out.
Oh. That's fun.
Now you sound like Mary.
You sound like Mary.
Mary, she's Halvorsonized you. You've been Halvorsonized.
Woo! I've been Halvorson.
This is a new thing for me, controlling
It's like-
other people's
yeah.
playing with pedals.
It's like galvanized.
It's galvanized but Halvorsonized. That's kind of my dream, that I never have to actually touch the pedals, but someone else who has a vision uses them.
Hey man, that's, you know.
Really?
that's
though?
the
Thank you
next
for that. I
phase of the
totally
career.
forgot
You
I
got
was
an assistant
controlling
that's
it.
down there.
Oh yeah, they Mary. She does.
Should we get a loop going?
Oh my God!
Ready?
Sure, yeah. Okay. So I don't know. So that's already looping. Wow.
Yeah, now check it out. Ready?
Wow. That's crazy. Wow. That blows. That's amazing to be on this side of it.
Yeah.
You make it sound so good. So freaking good.
That's the one. That's the coming apart one. Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, this is the one.
Oh,
Flip
there it is.
Scipio.
Yeah.
It feels
And
amazing.
Comes apart here.
Oh yeah. Wow. It's awesome.
Do you find that it's broken in even more?
Oh
since
yeah.
yeah.
For sure, because I've had it probably almost 6 years now.
Yeah, right. I remember. Okay, I remember that. I remember when it came into your.
Yeah, I think I got it in 20. No, I've had it longer. Oh my God. I've had it since 2015. I got it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that feels broken.
Yeah,
It feels
I
good.
like it.
That sounds so great.
You sound great on Julian's
know.
guitar.
This
Yeah.
feels well. This is the type of guitar body that I like. It feels natural to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fits you.
I'll show you this one. This is
Yeah.
a funny. The one that I got.
Let me see it.
Remember we did that tour that
Oh yeah.
I went to Europe with no guitar.
Yep, and then you bought a guitar in
The
Holland.
guy brought
I
it
remember.
for me. Yeah.
Is that?
It's this one. It's
Yeah.
now
I
it's,
remember this. I love this.
now it's
one.
got a few.
It's got a couple scratches.
But it was pre-scratched, right?
It was
Wasn't
brand new. Yeah.
But no,
It was
did
a
it
little
have?
bit aged, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Or not,
see,
maybe not. I remember that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You cut out the middle there.
Oh, look
So-
at that. What is? That's
That
what
is
holds
so
the
cool.
That's one of these.
transition.
Yeah. So, but he did it with pole pieces.
Genius.
Yeah.
That's what I would do too with that pickup.
Well, that was Pat.
Was
Was the one he requested that? He was like, "Can you make me one of these, but with pole pieces?" And then I was like, "Well, you made one for Pat. Can I get in on that? And now that you know how to do it, can I get one of those too?" But in a Les Paul, and he was like, "Oh, I do." You know,
That is
he
so
did.
cool.
Yeah, I like this one.
Oh,
this
that's
is like,
great.
this is a workhorse.
Is that the
nowadays.
one you mainly tour with?
Yeah, because it's it's
Yeah.
like so much easier compared to the
Yeah.
hollow body.
That's such a smart idea, though.
Yeah.
Wow. So
Can you play it a little?
yeah, I want to hear you play that.
It's just it has a.
Or you can plug in here and I can give you some effect.
At some
Oh,
point
yeah.
in your life, you should do that. It's incredible.
Wait, yeah.
Yeah.
How do I do that?
Yeah.
Just plug this one in.
Oh yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Let's see if it's even.
I love this. I feel like the
Pretty close.
wizard behind
You are
it.
the wizard. You are literally. Wow, that's cool. Yeah.
This might-
Heart out.
This might be
Yeah,
a new
right.
thing. Yeah, try that.
Oh yeah, I gotta play this. Mary, you're
Yeah.
welcome to try this too.
Yeah.
If you are at all interested. I have a feeling. Yeah, I already love the weight
You
of
need
yours.
another. No, that's going through Mary.
Oh,
Here,
wait.
you can plug.
I'll take you. Oh yeah, Mary, let me give you yours. That's only fair.
Yeah.
Wait, so what are we doing now? I'm confused.
You
just-
control
you just go
you,
through
Okay.
and then I'll
I
control.
love
You
this.
do you.
I
You
love
do-
this musical amp idea.
Wait,
guys just
so
play
who's
chords and
controlling
you
this?
don't know
Is
what-
I think you're
what
just
Oh, I'm
going
just
through.
going through your amp. Okay.
There should be a switch in the middle where you just.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. It's gorgeous. Wow, that's a great pickup.
It's in pretty good shape because I was in Netherlands in September and I was able to go to his shop and have him kind of overhaul it.
That's cool.
It was all beat up. Yeah.
I can see that. You know how these guitars, same with this one less so, but the Tellys I play, it's like a couple European trips and it's just, they tweak. You need, every other month I need to get them set up.
Oh, wow.
Like a lot.
Man, this sounds great.
You sound great. It's so cool to hear. Yeah, it's like kind of, it feels like an old electric, that one. And this one also does too. Wow. This is...
You almost get a sense like I feel like you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
You're right. You kind of see my. I felt that playing. Well, I'd be kidding if I said I knew how you think about the guitar and could actually do. But when I felt the responsiveness, I was like, oh, this would allow for so many options. You know,
yeah,
and that's
totally.
a cool feeling.
Or I feel like you can dig in on this in a way that sounds like the way you. I don't know.
I play hard on that, and it kind of goes, oh, okay, that's.
It really
fine.
works for them.
Yeah, I can do that. This feels gorgeous. That especially can take.
Can I try yours?
Yeah, this one takes a
try
beating.
that one.
This one.
Sure.
Yeah,
I remember when you got this. I think I played it.
Yeah, the first gig was.
Oh God!
First gig was a Lantern.
The first day that you got it, I played it probably, but I haven't played it since. Maybe we could, get it
Just go under?
out from under the chair.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, it's so musical.
Yeah, the pickup's loud, you know. It's like
Has a nice
pumps it up.
estate.
Yeah.
Isn't that gorgeous? Yeah, the overtones on that.
Yeah.
Great. I like loud pickups. These are louder than most like 11 and a half K. And Tellys for the most part like 5 that I like are 5. So
This is deeper than I know about pickups.
it's
yeah.
Yours is up there.
Yeah.
Probably 12.
Well, who makes these? Where do they come from?
This guy Ron Ellis,
Uh-huh.
who's in San Diego, I think he's the greatest. He's like the vintage pickup guru kind of guy, you know. Usually makes, humbuckers, Telly pickups, Strat pickups. These are based on Dynasonics, which were really primitive de-arming pickups. Kind of from the same family of yours in terms of like, when they came out, they set the standard for pickups.
Right.
And then they were forgotten, kind of for the most part. Gretsch adopted them, so, they have them in there. Country Gentlemen's have them. But in jazz especially, they're forgotten.
Right.
I think Guilds had a lot of them too.
A ton of them. Guilds had them. Yeah, totally. It's the same lineage, right? There's a photo of an early Les Paul with an early Les Paul with one of these stuffed into a P90 case in one of the Les Paul prototypes. So I think this led to the P90. I just like it because the pole pieces are the magnets, right? So like that pole piece is like this long magnet about
Oh,
this way.
really?
So yeah, so the fundamental is really kind of clear and stable.
Yeah. Rickenbacker pickups are the same kind of way.
Exactly.
Especially the toaster tops where they have these long barrel magnets sticking out
I'm
the
a
bottom of the
sucker
pickup
for
and
those.
stuff.
Do you like those
I
too?
love them, yeah.
I think those are great.
And the DRMN 2Ks were always something that I was really into.
That family of pickups to me it's the best.
Yeah, that's when I saw this guitar, I was like, oh my god, first it's yellow.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like I told you before, that was like my 10-year-old dream guitar was a yellow Les Paul. It was probably a copy, but I didn't know. It was probably a lawsuit guitar at the time.
Probably.
But it was like
Gorgeous.
this yellow Les Paul hanging in this music store. I'm 10 years old going, I never got it. But, since then, as like the kind of, when I see guitars like that kind of shape, and then the tortoise.
This thing, I know, I'm a sucker for that.
And those pickups.
It's beautiful.
That's pretty,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
This was a lot of phone calls to get a tortoise. It's hard to buy it in large sheets affordably, apparently, nowadays.
Oh, wow.
And so they're like, if we add this pickguard, we're going to have to add $500 to
What?
the guitar.
Because most of those are hand poured resins that they like artisanal made.
Yeah.
Yep, a small batch. But for Collins, they're like, we're going to make however many of these, even 100 of these, we have to spend like 10 grand on a sheet of it.
Wow.
So how badly do you want tortoise? And I was like, really badly. So they found another seller of it or whatever. It was a fun guitar to make.
Good for you for sticking to your guns on
Well,
that.
I was on tour with Bill at the time, and we were in the car, and I was like showing him pictures. And I was like, I should push on this.
Because
He's
what
like,
would it have
totally.
been otherwise?
Probably either black plastic,
Like a black
plastic. They can do probably just black. It wouldn't have been the same to me.
Yeah.
I'm such a nerd for that stuff, though. And
Also kind of matches the side.
Exactly, kind of that what did that mahogany kind of ambery glow of it. This guitar in Sunburst is cool too. I like that. Anyway, enough about me and guitars.
No, that's why we're here.
He's like, that's literally why I called you.
Questions like, I know you have 3 knobs.
Yep, what do they do?
Yeah, what do
I
they
don't
do?
know. I use this one.
Volume free pickup.
Here, should I give you back yours?
Oh yeah, exactly. Assume the position.
I mean, when I've seen you play, it's pretty much always just the neck pickup.
It's always the next. There was an iteration where these were interacted very differently. Currently, if you bought this guitar now, this is volume for both, and then this is tone for the neck, and this is tone for the bridge. So 2 tone, 1 volume.
And do you play with both of them most of the time?
I don't. I
No?
never. I don't. I have hopes of using that because I think it's a good sound.
Yeah,
but
it's
it's
really sunny. You'll find a sunny tune.
Exactly. I
That
just
will work
haven't.
well with that.
That's it. And I think other players will. You know, we designed this guitar to be hopefully appealing to other players too, not just me. So there was a consensus that other people might like having that sound, you know. Personally, and I think it's really. I think the bridge pickup's really satisfying and very, very indicative of the qualities of a Dynasonic pickup.
Yeah,
Like
it's also kind of on the thicker side of things, like a Les Paul, as opposed
Totally.
to the more trebly, telly.
It's
tone.
not the steely, telly thing. It's a little more, gritchy. So, but this is noise canceling if it's in the middle. So if I'm in a pickle, I can do that. This is not noise canceling. I have what you have, that hum debugger pedal that I use sometimes.
I think those are required if you have a Charlie Christian pickup.
I think so.
Yeah, I have like 3 of them.
Do you?
Yeah, because they're kind of
should.
temperamental. Sometimes they crap out. So.
Oh, I've been there with those.
Yeah. What do you mean it's noise canceling in the middle?
Well, they're
Like-
wound in such a way so that this isn't noisy at all today. But if I went here, this sound. Are they? Is it?
They're reverse
The
wound, reverse
wound,
polarity.
Reverse polarity.
They're
So-
like they function like a humbucker when they're both on.
So
Yeah. Thank you.
it links
Got
them
it.
together. I see.
RWRP.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you see that that's reverse wound, reverse polarity, and that's what cancels the hum and makes it sound like a humbucker.
That's so cool. Thank
There's
you.
your science lesson.
I love it.
I'm glad you articulated that for me. 'Cause I always at a loss for how to explain it. Do you know that guy? I think he's is he Ukrainian? I don't know. Actually, let me think of it. Any regards, he's Illich Systems, where he can noise cancel anything. So he'll cut out a hole in the back of your guitar and basically put a magnet that's the reverse wound, reverse polarity of whatever is causing the hum, and a lot of people use them for Charlie Christian pickups.
Oh, really?
A lot of people,
Yeah.
all 5 of all 5 of No, but Matt Munisteri had it installed, and it has a little switch, so it'll make it hum canceling without taking away the tone. It's very effective.
Yeah.
But it's a real science project. Do you know about this guy? I think he's out in Los Angeles, actually. Good guy to know if you're like in love with a single coil, but you can't live with the hum.
Yeah.
You go to him and he'll figure it out.
Introduce Nels Klein to
And
him.
it's like
Yeah, I think-
it's an external thing, like
He's
a
always
pedal?
struggling with
It's
the volume
internal.
pedal,
He
right,
has
to get the
to-
Yeah.
hum reduced, but the sound right.
I think it's all usually in the, if it's a Strat, he'll put it under the pick guard. If it's a Telly, he'll put it under the pick guard. With something like this, he was designing one for me. I never followed through with it. That would stick on the back of this plate.
Ah.
And
Also,
it's
it's small.
real
It's
easy
not
on
like a
your
big
Small. He has to
device.
wind
Yeah.
all this stuff. He
Yeah.
basically turns in these plates into magnets that do the reverse polarity thing.
I gotta get his info from
I think
you.
do you have, you might dig it.
There you go.
He's a brilliant.
Plenty of
brilliant
space
guy.
in here to put
Oh,
stuff.
totally.
Yeah, so
You'd probably just wrap it around the perimeter of
use
that
those
rectangle.
use the magnets. Those big ass magnets.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
You could like pack an extra pair of socks in there for tour.
Yeah, you can put this on the refrigerator. Just stick it up there.
that's
Yeah.
great too.
Instead
A
of a guitar
suitcase
holder.
and a magnet for the refrigerator. Now, I'm curious your life with that kind of pickup. Have you? What would you say you love? I know I've heard different things about why people love those. I love them for different reasons, but what do you
I
love
love
about
them. So
that?
this is also because the other guitar I
Has
play,
it,
which is the
right?
Guild Artist Award, also has the same T. Armand pickup. So it's kind of the only pickup I ever play.
Right.
And so part of it is probably just that I'm used to it.
Yeah.
But I find what I like about it is I feel like any amp I plug into, almost I can get a nice warm sound.
Yeah.
Like it gives me more flexibility with amplifiers, I think, because it just sounds so good.
Yeah.
It's just like a really warm, clean sound, which I always like as a starting point.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I have the opposite of you. I have no options here. I have no knobs.
I kind of love that.
I have one pickup and no knobs.
Oh, there's no volume? Nothing?
No, there's not
Okay,
even.
Okay.
We thought about putting in a volume, but I don't really need it because I always play
Always have a pedal, yeah.
with a volume pedal.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
great.
So it's just, I kind of like the simplicity of,
Yeah.
yep, this is what it is. It's just the
Yeah.
T-Armand pickup and
You get full tone out of the pickup that way too.
exactly.
Because the volume and the tone pot choices make a difference in how the thing sounds. It always
Sure, yeah.
eliminates some high end.
Absolutely.
yeah.
That this guitar at like 9 is a way darker guitar than it is at 10. Like way
Oh,
in the
wow.
heat of it. Yeah, because exactly like you're saying. So
That one notch on the volume, to me, that's my tone control. I don't really use the tone
Oh,
knobs
wow.
very much when I'm kind of, if I want a little bit darker, I just turn the volume from 10 to 9, and that's it.
wasn't it Van Halen who had one knob, the volume knob, and it said tone? So the same thing.
think
So,
so.
exactly. This is your tone knob. Is the volume knob. I thought that's kind of cool.
Was it with you when we were on tour? I think it was with you. We were playing and there was like a kid or something that came up after the show and was like, he has more knobs than you. Do you remember that? And I have like a vague memory of this.
I don't remember that, but it sounds about right, yeah.
That's awesome. That's so good.
I was like, yeah, you got me
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yep.
She
you're
had
right.
more foot
Yeah, more-
yeah,
exactly.
more foot knobs.
Goes to show
Yeah.
you never know what people are thinking when they're watching your show.
Yeah.
You're like, you think they're watching your quality level, and they're just
It was like a little kid or an
I
adult?
think it was a little
Okay.
kid.
Yeah, it sounds like
that
a
would
kid
have been
thing
kind
to
of
say.
weird thing
Yeah.
for an adult to say. But you never know.
would you
We
be
get
really
some weird
surprised?
adult
Yeah,
shit.
I mean, you know who I'm talking about.
yeah.
Oops, oh, I'm screwing this up.
That's
This is
so
getting
funny.
stuck in this.
Well, even being close to your guitar, Mary, I'm realizing like, would that be qualified as a gold foil? By like, because it has that foil, right?
Yep.
But the whole class of gold foil pickups. Do you think of that as like, I play a gold foil pickup guitar?
No, I never really do think about it like that.
I know it's such a nerdy thing to ask. Kind of like, I guess Ry Cooder was the one who got everyone into gold foils again, taking them out of Goyas or whatever. Not Goya, what is it called? Sorry.
Gaia tones?
Gaia tones. And they're thought of to be super, what's the word? When you hear all the...
Microphonic.
Microphonic.
You know everything. I love it.
It's great. It's like the perfect match. No, but do you find that to be super microphonic? Like in the sense that like a lot of my favorite gold foils, you know, you touch the back of the neck with the pickups on, and you hear that through the pickup.
You know, I never really thought about it.
Yeah.
I guess not.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
I think that's a weird thing about a great.
I almost take
thing
it for
about the-
granted. Like I don't notice it. You know,
Yeah.
it's just there. And
Is
and
that
I
a
like the way
surface
it
mount
sounds.
pickup? It is, right?
Yes.
It's just stuck to the
Yep, it just
top,
stuck
basically.
to the top. Yeah, there's like a little indentation, but
so
it's
cool.
stuck there. Yeah.
Sounds great when you play it. That's all.
I think that's part of why they work so well for jazz guitars, because they do pick up the vibration of the soundboard.
Yeah, they're not super waxed on the. Like, isn't that what kills microphonics? Is the,
Yeah, they wax pot them.
They put wax in the
Yeah.
cover. I've always been bummed out by that.
Yeah, totally. And I think the reason Flip had this is because he used to work at Guild before he started, making guitars on his own. And I think they were getting rid of a bunch of them or something, and he was like, "This is a travesty." So I think he got a few at that
Getting
point.
rid of the pickups?
Or they stopped using
They
them
stopped
or
using them,
something,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
So at that point he was like, "You can't get rid of these."
I'll take
And
it.
so he had a few. So he knew I liked this pickup, so he
Yeah.
put it on this guitar.
Wow, it sounds so good in your hands. It's so cool.
Thanks.
Do you play that one around the house too? Just for, I mean, is it like your main?
Yeah, I kind of use both of them
Yeah.
equally. I'm not a guitar collector. I've never really had. I get overwhelmed if I have too many options, so I
Yeah.
like that I just have two of them.
Yeah.
I tend to play the Guild more in New York because otherwise it doesn't get played much because I travel with this one.
Yes.
But I play them both. I don't know. Yes, sometimes at home I have them both out. I play both of them.
That freaked me out when I saw you put that thing together for the first time. I was like, what? No way.
Oh,
I should have brought my tools. I could have done a demonstration here.
It's pretty
I mean, it's
remarkable.
really, it takes me like, I don't know, 3-5 minutes to put it together.
It's amazing.
So you just take the screw out in the back, or you or
So I put a
loosen it, or-
capo around the neck so I don't have to de-string it, and then it just pops up, and then this is floating, So and this stays attached, So it's just kind of hanging.
Wow.
Does the bridge always, is it marked or something?
Yeah, it's
to get it
marked.
back?
There's like a mark, and then just pop it back in, tighten the Allen wrench, and then tune it up. And what's remarkable about it, and I don't know how he did this, but it stays in perfect tune. Like it doesn't have a moment where you would think because I'm taking it apart and putting it together all the time that it would go out of tune, but it doesn't go out of tune.
That's crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Flip's good at that.
He's really good. I don't know how he did it.
He's
And he never made one
amazing.
before. It's just because I knew he's a friend of mine, and
Yeah.
I was seeing bass players have these removable neck
Yeah.
basses, and I was jealous. It's like I want to do that on guitar. I can't carry guitars on planes anymore. It
Yeah.
stresses me out too much. So I said, hey, do you think you could do that? And it was like, no, I never have, but sure, I could try.
He's really tuned into that. What he's done with old silver tones and old guitar.
Yeah.
He gets them in tune
Yep.
and feeling like stable, like more than so many cats.
Yeah, he's really good, and just does these crazy one-of-a-kind
Yeah.
guitars.
Yeah. What, is it his wife that makes those cool books?
Yeah, she's a bookbinder.
Because remember we went there. They were
Do we
having
go
a
to her?
show-
She has like a
We were playing somewhere, rehearsing, and then she had a show in Soho,
Yeah.
and we went, and she had all these crazy, cool
Really?
hand-bound.
Yeah, they're
like,
amazing. I've
notebooks,
bought
yeah.
a few of her books over the
Really?
years. Yeah.
Super cool.
Oh, that's cool.
I remember not having the money that night. I was like, I can't quite do it.
That's understandable. I get
I
it.
was like, "No, my thoughts don't deserve this type of thing.
Don't deserve this book.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
I think they
so
Of
do.
all
do.
people, Miles,
I think-
I want to know what you're
After
thinking.
seeing your guitar method book, I
Oh my
think your
God.
thoughts deserve a book.
Yeah, seriously. Are you writing another book? Are you?
No, I mean, I have, like, I put out a thing a couple weeks ago, just a PDF type of deal. So
That's so
you know.
cool.
I think, that guitar book, that was one of the most miserable experiences ever.
What do you
No
mean, why?
way.
Just trying to write I thought it was like, because I had all those teachings, I was doing
Yeah.
like, whatever, BAMF and those different kind of
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
And I had all these little pamphlets and little things, because I was writing the same things out over and over again for students, like, oh, here's, you know what I mean?
Might
So,
as well just, yeah.
might as well just make it into a book, and it just, it just snowballs into this.
Yeah.
And it's like so lonely, like writing. Like you're not doing stuff with people, you're just there and you're in your
Yeah.
thoughts, it's like, it's the worst.
Yeah.
It's an incredible book, though.
I don't know how
I
people
send
do
all
it.
my students and
Yes.
colleagues.
Yeah,
Same.
so
your
I get
book.
it, I get both versions. So it's like, great book, or this is just totally bullshit.
Do you really? I can't
yeah.
imagine you getting any
No,
resistance.
people get disappointed because it says fundamentals, so they think it's a beginner's book, so they get it, and they're like, I couldn't
That
understand
actually
anything
makes
in
me
here.
laugh. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is not a beginner book. This is like every page has so much information and so much crazy stuff. But I love that it's called that. It's amazing.
It is kind of genius, though. I mean, I'm curious how you feel about it. I feel like there's a little bit of like education dysmorphia where things that are considered really complex are sold as really simple, and things that are really simple are dangled as like a carrot that you'll never reach. Like I feel like with counterpoint on the guitar, where students are like, well, they've been playing for a lot of years. They're advanced, and they're like, and then the top of the mountain is like 2-part improvising. And as a consequence, it's always just at a grasp, right? But meanwhile, counterpoint, it's like, it's like the Bach stuff you have your students. It's like we've inherited so much of it, and it is the foundation of so much. But when we think of it as the advanced stuff, it's out of reach, And I think that's why I call it a dysmorphia. It's like, what if you didn't think that was hard? What if you really think counterpoint and you think, and we just think of that as amazing, not like so hard.
Amazing.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then other
yeah.
things are kind of flipped, where they're like, certain things like touch and timing, people are like, oh, that's just fundamental. That's just,
Oh,
I did
yeah.
that. I did try. I learned scales.
Sure.
That's really.
Well, I think there's also a sense too that everyone wants to just like find tricks to get somewhere, and like
That's an interesting point.
like what's a quick YouTube video where I can learn to do this like little flashy thing.
Yeah.
You know, it seems like so much of it is that and not really fundamentals at this point. Or it probably goes along with just people's attention spans now being like all over the place.
I think it's a great point. I think about growing up when like George Van Epp's books came out. Like, and that was considered fundamental.
I'm going through
Are
one
you
of those
really?
books right now.
Do you love them?
I love it.
Yeah,
I
harmonic
love
mechanisms.
All that, it's amazing. But if you grew up and thinking, oh, this is what a guitar player needs to know, and it's super comprehensive, what a different outlook on the guitar you'd have then. Like you're saying, where like, I play the guitar and I just need some hacks to not suck. There's such different modalities.
And you do that for other things. You're like, how do I fix a toilet? Oh, in 10 minutes. I mean, there's a lot involved in plumbing. You know, there's not. You know,
It's
like, but
seriously.
when you need, but a lot of people, they're just fixing a toilet of a guitar.
That's the best analogy.
Come on, that's too good.
No, I mean, you know,
it's so good.
like
It's so
guitars
good.
during COVID sold like tons, right? Everybody was learning how to play guitar, so
Yeah.
I bet those videos were like, you know,
through the roof. I watched them. I watched so many beginner guitar videos. I have kind of an obsession with them. Like I really, it's because I guess because I'm not on social media or not directly with any of that. I just go on YouTube and I watch like, I love watching people teach how to like read music, watching people teach how to get jazz into their playing. I'm just it's like a, what'd you say?
I said I need to watch that one about reading music.
Get jazz. I like the one to get jazz in your
Get
playing.
jazz in your playing. There's a great point. It's just so sincere to me that people are trying to figure out how to talk about things that are hard to talk about, and so I find it very like exciting.
I bet there's a huge range, like, or some of them are really good and some of them are.
Well, there's a lot of different. The ranges like of temperament blows my mind. There's the like, there's the life hack energy of like, want to know how to overcome this in 10 easy minutes. Here's how you do it. Then there's the approach of like, what they told you in school is wrong. There's that that rhetoric.
Right.
You know.
Here's the real deal.
Yeah, here's the. I'll really show you what so and so is playing. And maybe they know, maybe they don't. But it's just that's interesting that that's. And what's another one that rarely the one if I were ever to do video, I'd be like, I just encourage people to read more books about it because I grew up. I had every guitar book that I love those and but that's probably the less popular approach. Like, go through all of Joe Diorio's books.
But sometimes the best approach isn't the most popular. Because what you're telling is for people to spend years of their lives working on stuff.
It's just not I think it's not as seductive, you know.
Yeah.
But it's neat hearing people talk about beginner stuff. What's considered beginner? I think there's a lot. I think I was talking about this the other day with someone. I was like, I think that progressive metal guitar playing nowadays is kind of what jazz was in the guitar world for so many years, which is like, it's the hard thing that you use as a basis for being like a legitimate player. I feel like for so long it's like, good guitar players know some jazz tunes and they know chords and they can play the bebop scale. That's what I heard growing up in education. Now it's like, and it's beyond me, but modern young players who are really badasses all have a knowledge of progressive metal and shredding in a way that's very elegant to me. Like,
do you?
No, that's what I'm saying. This is after me, I don't have any of that. But cats who their facility came not from bebop, but they have it. They have an awareness of the fretboard.
Yeah, I know. I follow some folks like that. Yeah,
do you know
definitely.
what I mean? I think that's it's becoming a bigger touchstone of the modern guitar movement. That I hope people realize how cool that is and don't say, well, it's not Joe Pass, so it's not legit.
Right.
Because it's like Tosin Abasi or someone that's like amazing. These guys are. I hope that's I don't know. That's my projection.
That stuff is crazy.
It is crazy.
I sat down with a guy. I was like, "What's this guy doing?" I forget what it's called, but it's like some hammering and some picking. But you can't kind of tell which is which. And it's just like he was like, "Oh, it's just this move and this move." And I was like, "Man, I think I've just missed this whole. It's just it's too late for me." Like
that's great. I know that feeling really well.
It's like this is not I can't go down this path right now.
Yeah. That's so hip though that you were like, what's?
I mean, yeah.
You'd have to really want to. You'd have to be very motivated to do it.
Yeah. It's. I'd love a lesson from people in that world.
Well, that's the thing about guitar. There's like so many.
Yeah, it's endless.
It just keeps going.
Man.
You know.
Can you talk about this guitar? We haven't talked about this guitar.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this one? This is my COVID guitar. For like,
Your guitar has COVID?
well, it's been vaccinated.
Good.
They put some jazz in it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, since I was like a teenager, I played with like a 70s 175 with this kind of pickup.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm just used to that sound. I never even thought of, I didn't know what it was when I got it. I was just like, well, that's the cool looking, and it looks like the Charlie Christian picture, you know? So, with just the line, you know, I was like, oh, that's cool. But it's not a super great quality, you know, guitar. It's 1978, like plywood top type of deal.
Sure.
And the pickup is like sounds a lot. It's more sort of rounded off or something. I don't really know how to describe it. But this one's, I've been looking for one of these for like ages, like 15 years or something. I just kind of on the listings, and they always come up and they're like $10,000, $8,000, you know. Like,
Yeah.
And no, I saw this one and on Reverb.
Yeah.
And it was in Jersey, and I was like, oh, let me go see it. And I drove to the shop, and I knew enough about these guitars to say like, oh, I don't think this is an original because it's a real rough cut here.
Yeah.
And these knobs are not right.
Yeah.
And there was this tailpiece is not right. And I was like, I think somebody took an L50 and chopped it up and made this guitar, so I can't give you what you're asking, but I'll give you like a.
Yeah.
I like the way it plays, so
Yeah.
I'd be interested in it at this super low price. And the guy was like, well, let me call the guy and see what it was a consignment. See what he said. He said okay. And I was like, okay, I guess I just bought this guitar. So I gave him the check, and with the EH150 amp, a matching amp.
Get it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
And the case and all the stuff, like with it, like really way cheaper, like a third of the price of what
Wow.
you usually see them. And I took it to Crandall and was like, hey man, can you tell me what's up with this? He's like, oh, this is all original.
Really?
He's like, this was made in 1940, and they ran out of these parts, so they started putting on the other parts.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh, sweet. Can you forget it working? So, you know, he did the fret job.
Did
and
you
all
feel guilty at that point?
No, hell no.
Because I would.
No, because I didn't try to swindle the guy. I was saying what I actually thought was true. Like I thought it was. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert.
I wonder what the guy thought. Like if he also thought it was true what you said, or if
I think so
yeah.
because it's not. It's kind of obscure knowledge. I mean, I actually contacted a guy in California who. Do you know this guy? Has this website called like Pre-War Gibson something or other, and he has the most insane collection of pre-war Gibson archtops, like hundreds of guitars. Like he has like 6 L5s and stuff
Is it
like
Tony? Is his name? It's not Tony Marcus's
that.
operation.
No, but it is. Yeah, I contacted him and I was like, well, what do you think of this picture? And he tipped me off to a couple of those things.
Really?
So with that knowledge, I went. That was it.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
But anyway, I like it. I've used it on like 3 records.
It's so cool.
And the sound is much like it's a much more. It's like a more direct kind of sound.
That's bright.
It really
That's
sounds
right.
old with that
Yeah.
with that amp. It really sounds cool. So I did a record with that amp, but playing super weird,
It's
like
the perfect
different
guitar
kind of
for
stuff.
that.
So.
Yeah. It's a 150, ES150.
150. Yeah. So this is 1940.
What's the difference between what's an ES250?
The 250 is the one. Charlie Christian had it after the 150. I mean,
It's the blonde
it's
one.
blonde.
I played that guitar,
and they
but I didn't know
have-
what the difference was.
There's something different. It has the same pickup. It's just fancier. I think
like a
250
fancy-
because that was
okay,
the
right.
prices, right? This was
Right,
$150. The
right.
250 was 250. The Super
That's
400
right,
was
that's
$400.
Oh wow.
And
Just the new model.
it's just it was like
Yeah.
the new fancy model, and he played that for a while. And Pat found the guy that owns that guitar, that blonde 250.
I know
Lynn-
this
oh,
guitar.
you know-
yeah,
yeah,
but
yeah.
did Pat?
He played it.
He played it
went
too,
there and
right?
played it or something like that. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's the one on. I played it because the gentleman who owns his dear friend of mine. We worked on a book together, and he had it, and I was like, it's the guitar from Solo Flight, from
Yeah.
that solo, right?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's the most vibrant, freaky guitar.
I don't think it's been messed with either. It's just kind
Nope.
of yeah.
I think it's just been tucked away.
Yeah.
But I never knew the difference between the 150 and 250, just stylistic. But I think you're right. It's just adornments and.
Yeah, it's just fancier, I think,
Fancier.
and something like that. But it was an interesting story, and then but I don't really feel like traveling with it, so it's just
Yeah.
kind of sitting at home. But actually, since I got it, I don't know. It's sort of like, it's always like, what do you do? You're going to leave the guitar at home and not play it?
Do you play it around New York? Like if you have gigs?
Yeah. And I haven't taken it on a flight yet.
Really?
But, yeah.
I get it, of
Yeah.
course.
I don't know.
It's so hard to take any guitar on a flight now. I guess you still
I check
do
it.
You,
but
no, you check it now,
I
right?
check it in a case.
I always check it. I have one of those Carlton cases, you know, that fits this, but fits 175, but still it's
I mean, since they started charging for checked bags, it's like every person on every flight is trying to cram as much shit as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just crammed. Every overhead is
Full.
completely crammed.
Yeah. But why fight it? I kind of agree with them. The guitar doesn't fit. Like, that's how I feel. I'm like, you're right. Every time in my life I was like, it does fit.
I love it. They're like, sir, that's not going to fit. You're like, you're absolutely right.
You're totally right.
I love checking and walk on with my little backpack and that's all. You know?
Exactly.
That's no problem. I feel like a normal human.
I board
Yeah.
the plane last now. That's my new
I
thing.
love that
it's
you
like,
do
who wants
that.
to sit on it longer than you have to? Just
so
wait for
genius.
everybody to go. I've been literally the last person on most flights recently boarding.
It's really
makes me happy.
hip to me. I remember seeing you in wherever that was. Where were you and Toma
We
got
were in
on
like
last.
Munich or something.
Oh yeah, I had already like fallen asleep, woken up. You still hadn't like we were like I was
like, okay.
I was like, are we here? Because there's some area. I was like, oh no, we've just been on the runway for an hour, and you're smart.
That's the worst. Why is it so much easier to fall asleep when you're sitting on the? What is that thing?
I think it's.
I always I get one good doze off and I waste it at that.
Yeah,
waste it,
then you
right,
can't
right.
fall
Waste
asleep
it.
the rest of
Yeah, I
the
wasted
time.
at that sitting in the thing, and you look out the window, and you're like,
Yeah.
Get an airplane Bloody Mary, and you'll be fine.
There you go. There you go. It'll work out.
Julian, tell us about the Bixby because I noticed you don't really use it.
I
but
don't.
It's there.
I accidentally bumped it the other day, and I was like, what was that? Like I was playing, and I was like, I couldn't figure out what just happened. It was just
That
my
sounds like
hand.
Bill.
I know. I like the reverse Bigsby a lot. Because it goes sharp, right?
You never
Yeah.
use it?
No, it's just for weight. If this Bigsby weren't on the guitar, it would be about 5 pounds, which is to me lighter than I prefer from a sustain point of view. So when we were designing it, there was a lot of questions like, well, do you add another piece of wood on the inside? Do you make a
Interesting.
tailpiece? But good-looking tailpieces tend to be more like yours, or yours. There's like less is more. One way to add mass and a certain degree of cool factor is just put a Bigsby and don't touch it. It's great if you touch it. I mean, if you use it, I think it's really good.
and it's cool looking.
It's cool looking. That was but it's funny in designing a guitar to have an element that is its own brand and its own iconic, like its own icon. I was nervous about that, being like, will that make it look like a big, like, where will the eye go when you're looking at it? When Bigsby's name is bigger than the guitar maker. I had that existential concern of,
Right.
but I'm over it, and it sounds great. And it adds about a pound. It's like,
Wow.
It also helps with it not being head heavy.
totally, it's very balanced as a guitar. I can't wait for you should play
It's
this.
also nice to have it as an option, even if you don't use it
I think it's
regularly. It's like you have all these options here you don't use
don't
too,
touch
but you
them.
have stuff you could
could.
use if you wanted to.
I used it on the end of one song the other day. I went like that, and I was like,
Yeah, even
I
if you
did
only
it.
use it like once a gig or something.
Yeah,
It's a nice sound.
It's nice. It's a beautiful sound.
You guys play that Roy Orbison song quite a bit in your sets, right?
Yeah, we play "Crying."
Crying, yeah. That
play that.
would
That
seem
would work.
like it would work in that song.
It'd be amazing. I wouldn't know how to. I'm very phobic about things like this. I don't. It's how I've always felt on slide song. Playing lap. Do you play lap steel or anything? I don't.
I love the sound of
Oh,
it,
it's
but
the
I can't.
greatest.
I tried to have Susan Alcorn show me
Yeah.
a little bit of pedal steel, and I was just lost within
like,
half a second. It's so complicated.
It's so
with all the
complicated.
knee levers and
Oh.
foot pedals, but I love that sound and the sustain.
I wish I could do it, but I same similar to you. I just can't. When pitch is fluctuating, I get very disoriented.
So like,
Yeah.
because I read you had the article in the Arcana.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
was-
you had a section in there about like the balancing the guitar, right?
Oh,
About
yeah,
trying-
yeah.
Does you think about that with the hardware and all that?
I
Like,
do.
Trying to
I
get it so it feels good on the strap and it's not going one
do.
way.
I think
Yeah.
guitar. I think weight. I think the discussion of weight as guitar players is not talked about a lot, and the trouble is any effort for me that's used to kind of keep the guitar in place. if I'm not considering what the weight of the object I'm holding in place, then I just have a de facto, let me grab the guitar so it doesn't fall kind of approach. And you can hand me any guitar and I'm going to put about 30% of my energy in just keeping it from falling. But what I started figuring out once I injured my hand years ago and was recovering from it was that lighter guitars don't need a whole lot to hold them down. Like they don't, it's not going to, it's just going to kind of rest there. And heavy guitars really just kind of plop in your lap, so you don't have to hold it. And when this guitar didn't have a Bigsby, it was so light that it was kind of doing this.
Right.
And that was, and because of maybe my interest in weight, I thought that's going to be annoying. So with it, it just kind of,
Or even just get you
It
gradually.
also fits perfectly. It's almost like it was built around the shape of your
my knee.
leg.
Right, I know that also I enjoy. But I spent, when we were making, I would do this. It's so nerdy, but I would spend a lot of time dropping it to feel. I wasn't used to it. Just to know, like, is this gonna? I don't know. I've never had to articulate it. Is there any part of me that's bracing the whole time I'm playing to hold the guitar from falling? Because it's so. There's so much equipment on the front. The face is so heavy, and I came to a place where I thought, no, that's reasonable. Wouldn't that be annoying if a guitar felt like it was always pulling?
Yeah.
Kind of like a car, if it has a pull, it's bothersome.
And your hand is often kind of hovering, like you're not putting a lot of like gripping.
Right.
Not as much as I used to.
Because I'm just resting. I mean, for me,
I
because
love that.
But even this guitar and my other guitar, which is bigger, it feels a little different, you know, because the other one just has a slightly different. So, I mean, yeah, I think about that stuff too, in a different way. For me, it's not.
It's probably not left.
This
to
isn't
right.
important to me because my arm is always
You're like
resting
that.
here, even when I'm playing. You know, it's just resting.
Mary, do you feel like does that liberate your the movement of your right hand, or does it? What does it liberate it? I guess like when you feel like, okay, this is in place, now this can move freely, or do you feel that that also kind of curbs the movement of the right hand?
I think for me, I like it, but it's because I've played so few guitars in my life, I just learned, like my whole technique is probably based around the fact that my arm is, so it's always kind of strange if I play a guitar where my arm isn't resting.
Anchored? Yeah.
So I think more than anything, it's just what I'm used to, and I haven't thought that much about it. And like you said, you're trying to articulate, like, I don't know. I will tell you though that not having a pick guard is another thing. Like that would be a little bit tough for me to, because I'm always resting my pinky on the pick guard.
Okay, that changes the whole thing.
So when I get a guitar like that with no pick guard, it's weird. I feel like I'm flailing around and I have kind of no place to rest. So it's just like little things you kind of take for granted.
I understand what you mean. Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. I was like that for a lot of years. I was pick guard, keep my pinky down, play like that.
So you don't use them at all. I see both of your guitars here.
Pick guardless.
Well, I usually break them and then I never put them back, so I just got used to not having one.
Yeah.
Or it's not like I could break them, it's just they're always flimsy the way they're attached, you know, especially on old guitars. So, but I got used to some sort of back of the fingers thing, kind of like from my teacher, who kind of got that from George Benson, you know, and so it's like more like this than anything else, you know.
Wow.
So, and that could be here if there's a pick guard, or it could be like that, I guess, you know.
So you almost can adjust based on whatever.
Yeah, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I mean.
Do you think about the weight stuff? Like because these are very different. Your arm is resting on this one, and with that one, it's not.
Yeah, it's weird. Sometimes I have to put a little pillow under that because I find myself kind of. I'm used by far the most comfortable thing is like a 15, 16-inch kind of big fat guitar, because I can do this and I feel like the neck is parallel to the ground, and that's how I like it. But standing is like is a totally different thing. That's all about the weight, and I've tried like so many different things, and definitely notice when I'm constantly is pressing on your hand or something, and it's like after a while you don't notice it, and then after a while you're like, oh, this kind of sucks. Why? You know, you're like, oh, because it's just this slight.
Well, you're holding it and trying to be liberated, so you're kind of going in two directions, right?
Yeah.
I like that's Neil Young's fun to watch stand up when he plays. Think of Neil Young playing electric. The guitar is just like flying. It's like rocking like a pendulum. I was thinking that's what who else is like that? I guess Keith Richards is kind of like that.
Yeah.
It's really just hanging off of him.
Yeah.
That's always I always think that's fun.
Yeah.
But versus the thing of like I'm It's hanging on me, but I'm also holding it.
It's hard to do a two-voice counterpoint with the guitar down there.
It's so hard. I've messed up my wrist a lot trying.
Arm
Oh
around.
yeah.
I can't stand
You go the
anymore. I
other
used
way.
to stand and play, and then I got so many pedals. It's
Right,
like
right,
if
that
I
would make
stand
it-
now, I'm going to fall over because I'm trying to operate 2-foot pedals. So now I have no choice. I
You
basically
have to sit.
I have to sit, but I like it because it is so different ergonomically standing. So I like to not have to make that adjustment. You know, it
Makes
just
a lot of
is
sense.
what it is.
No, sitting is good for guitar playing. Right? It's kind of crazy that we try to stand, I feel. I always thought that watching Jim Hall, he was like, he sat and it looked right. Or he watched like, I was like, yeah. And when you would stand and it would look different. It would like, there's a great clip of him early. Like, what was that? Was it in the 60s or 70s? I heard an anecdote about it, but he was, I think on tour with Barney Kessel, they were doing 2-guitar quartet tour. There's a video or photo of it, but Jim didn't have a strap, so they got one, and it was one of those big shearling, puffy, white ones. And this photo is like, Jim, the guitar is really high, and it's all this shearling around his neck, and it's just like, that looks awkward. I get why he likes to sit.
It's funny, I was just looking at a magazine this morning with him on the cover. I went up to, you ever been to the Bop shop up in Rochester?
Oh, yeah.
I know about it.
You went there this morning?
No, I went there a while back, but he had all these old
Really nice, right?
downbeats, like piles of downbeats.
That's
and he's
a
like,
great shop.
And he was like, yeah, just go through and find what you want. And I went through and I found all the guitar special issues.
cool,
And
yeah.
you know, it was like one had Barney Kessel and one had Jim Hall. You know, and they had like a history with Charlie Christian and all. Those articles are really
It's
cool when they're
amazing.
just coming out. Here's the new guy, you know, and like, you know, it's really,
That's the best, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I want to see those.
yeah.
Did you ever come across like Tal Farlow or Barney Kessel? Or like when, I know you would have been really young while they're still somewhat around, but like did you?
Oh, see them?
Yeah, or just hear, because there's stories I heard about those guys. I think Tal Farlow, and he played a ES 150 back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember him having young people come over to his house and being like, try my old Gibson, try this out. He had stopped playing for many, many years. Was that ever on your...
Barney Kessel, my teacher Rodney Jones studied with Barney Kessel.
Of course.
And carried his guitar around and did all this sort of apprentice type of stuff.
That's what I thought.
But I never met him.
It was before your time. though,
Before
right?
my time, yeah, definitely. I think, what's his name? Who's the guitar player out in California with cowboy hat and what's his? Bruce Foreman. Bruce Foreman. He has that guitar.
Oh, he has that now?
Yeah.
Oh, right, because it's the pole. I
Yeah.
heard about this whole story. Right, he's got it. That original one.
Yeah.
I just did. That makes. I knew about Rodney. I didn't know if he. I didn't. You never know. I didn't know
Yeah.
how Barney and Tal Farlow kind of out. I feel like they. When did they die? Do you know when they died?
I don't really. No, I can't think of it.
Anyway, I was just curious. Through the Rodney connection, if there is.
Yeah, I never got that into Tal Farlow. I like Barney Kessel a little more, but I
Yeah.
never got so much. I don't know. It was like too much for me. Like I really, Jim Hall was like the cat for me, like for certain type of playing.
Yeah.
Me
Oh my
too.
God, right? Was
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
Jim Hall, all the way.
Yeah.
Did you play with Jim, or did you?
No, I met him once, and it was actually super cool. I was studying at the New School for 1 year,
Yeah.
probably in 2000, and I was taking Jane Ira Bloom's Ornette Coleman class. So we were learning Ornette Coleman tunes by ear,
So cool.
and she was like, "Hey, my friend Jim Hall lives around the corner, and I'm going to ask him to come listen to you all play these Ornette Coleman tunes." And it was so
cool.
sweet. He came in and he sat there, and he's like, "Oh, sounds great." It was really nice, but like it meant so much to me at the time.
Sure.
It was super cool, and I think that was the only time I ever met him.
I'm sure he loved you. He collected records of everyone who was on the scene, and like he just loved anyone who had a perspective that wasn't anachronistic. Like anyone who tried to play like him or do his thing, he's just like. That's really
That's
cool.
great.
That's cool. I know.
Did you cross paths with him much?
I was lucky. I knew him a lot, and but from when I was very young, I was. I met him when I was 11, and we stayed in pretty consistent touch from 11 to I was like in my mid-20s. He would call me.
Amazing.
It
Aw.
was really cute. He would just, I wasn't, the thing is, I wasn't even, I was playing guitar, but it wasn't like he knew what I sounded like. It wasn't like I was good. He was just very nice to me because I was, I must have come across as a very excited fanboy as an 11-year-old.
Yeah.
And we developed a friendship kind of separate from the guitar. I remember he used to call me. I get a call, and he would say, call my parents' number. I was like, 13. And I'd say, hello, unknown number. He'd say, what's the first chord of all the things you are? And I'd be like, F minor. He'd be like, that's right, it's Jim Hall. How's it going?
It's like a secret password. He's going to hang up on you if you get it wrong.
Totally. It was so killing, the secret password, and he called me. I was just like, this is my dream. And so that would happen every 6 months or so. When I moved to New York, our mutual friend, Brian Camilio, who's kind of Jim's best friend and took care of him and put out his records on Artist Works and or Artist Share rather. He kind of brokered a meeting where he's like, I need some content for my site. Can you come over to Jim's and play all the things you are? He was kind of doing it as a buddy. I was like, sure, I'd love to.
That's amazing.
But it was yeah.
He sounds like a hilarious person. I've heard so many stories about the funny things that he said or did.
It's like you guys. It's like smart, brilliant, funny. It's like that's what got him excited. And then what didn't get him excited was talking about the past. If you're like, what was it like with Ella? He was like, I don't want to talk about the 50s. Like right. So that was your life. To me, it's like a legacy,
Yeah.
So that was always comforting. Hilarious. Really wrote a lot of cards and letters to people around him. So sadly, I lost a lot of them in moves and in a flood. But I had cards where, yeah, he's very self-deprecating things. That's what I'll say.
Was he friends with Gary Larson, the cartoonist?
They were best friends.
Right, because he did the cover of the book.
Yep.
And Gary Larson was a guitarist.
Gary Larson's totally.
Or is a guitarist.
Yeah, Gary Larson's a guitarist.
Yeah.
And
do you know Gary Larson? The Far
I
Side?
know who he is. Yeah.
Have you? I've only met.
I never met him. I just remember somehow
really.
that's in my memory as a thing.
Well, Jim. I think Jim. Our friend Brian was saying this. I think it's true. I think Jim looked to Gary Larson's form of fame, style of being famous, as very admirable. I think Jim wanted to be like the Gary Larson. Like someone who's like ubiquitous, whose art is everywhere, who's changed people's lives, but they're not flashy as a person.
Yeah.
And I would imagine Jim didn't have a lot of people. He didn't have other Jim Halls around him. You know what I mean? Who were like masters of, I don't know, modernism and simplicity and emotionality in that way. So I think Gary was like his, it was very similar to Jim, which makes sense why they'd be friends.
Well, the cartoons also are so sort of economical. They're just it's just like the laugh. It's just like that's it.
Instant.
It's a great idea, one after another.
Sounds like Jim, right? Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think that was his format. It was concise and very impactful. I think Gary Larson, as I heard, used to send a lot of faxes to Jim in the days of faxes, where he'd draw a cartoon of Jim and then fax it to him.
Oh, that's so great.
So cool. That'd be fun to get.
Yeah.
One thing that I'm always curious about too is strings, picks, cables, other things like that. I don't know. I know you have your D'Addario strings and
11 to 49 round wound strings. Picks.
Nickel?
Nickel wound? No, it's the NYXL, which I guess is that nickel? It's not pure nickel, but it's nickel wound. Is that right? These green picks, Dunlop picks, 88 millimeter. Cables are Divine Noise cables. Is that it? Is that what that's me. I'm simple. I'm curious about you guys. You have more elaborate.
Do you use those pyramid strings still?
Elixirs.
Elixirs.
I'm obsessed with elixir strings.
Oh, elixir, yeah.
It's the only strings I can use. I've tried many strings. I just love the way they feel. They're like coated strings. And same thing, I buy these in packs of 40 because I shred through them.
Wow, what is it?
Dunlop 1.0. I like them, just hard plastic.
Yeah.
It gets like a really strong, kind of loud attack. Cables, I don't have any particular type of cable.
Preference.
These are just, I just don't know much about it. Like I don't know what the best types of cables are. I just kind of use whatever at this point. But
good.
I'm open in terms of cables.
Yeah. Companies out there want to some free cable. These are Tomastic 13s, nickel flats.
11, 12, 13.
That's wild. That's why it works.
Yeah. I feel like a 13-year-old.
You're the adult.
I've been using these Tomastics forever. I don't know if
I love Tomastics.
They're expensive, but they seem to last forever. You know, I used to use the 14s, and I grew up and
I know
toned it down a little.
You regressed.
Pick. This is a trickster pick from my band.
Oh,
I made these as
awesome.
promotional things, and then I ended up liking this material. I don't even know what it is. It's a little bit rough. It gives a little bit of a.
Well, yeah, that's like Nels's picks. That's what is that called?
I forget what it's called. Is it not vellum or something like that? But I forget what it's called. Anyway, I ordered them from some company and gave them out at gigs and stuff. But then I ended up kind of hoarding them for myself. I got to order some more. But they're like in between a medium and a heavy Fender. I'm used to Fender picks, but
I like it.
The shape anyway. But there's sometimes too slippery for me, so I like to get a little bit of something. And this is like I don't know what 80 or something like that. Like. Because in between medium and heavy, so I don't know.
It's kind of the
So
same.
it's a trade-off.
So you're one. It is a trade. I know. It's always a trade-off.
I got some other guitars with real light strings.
Really?
I play like a thin or a medium or something, but because that would kill it,
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know about cables.
Really?
I didn't even know where this is from. If this is from here or if I brought it.
Miles and I are in the cable market. Like this.
I never thought about cables being very important as long as they don't come out of the guitar. So
Well, that's
Where we flash on the screen, open to endorsements.
yeah. Because they always break or I lose them or whatever. So
it's very similar.
leave
I'm
them
similar to
somewhere.
you. Like I haven't thought much about cables most of my life. Divine Noise, they're important. Nels got me into them. What I have to say is they don't break. They don't. I've had the
That's
same
great.
cable for like 8 years, and I have
That's
two.
great.
And they just are. And every other cable I've had, I've broken just because I get them because I'm kind of careless, or they get wound on something.
Does this have that sheath on it?
Yeah,
Like
this
when you
has
play?
that noise. What is it?
Yeah, okay. I
So
used
it's
to
a
have one
silent
of
plug.
those. I used to have one. Of course, I lost it. I left it at a gig or something. But,
I like that too, just to be
Yeah.
able to have a noise. But
yeah.
I think they do a great thing.
It is important to have a reliable one. I mean, even
Don't
for
you
me, if
think?
something breaks and I'm on a gig and I have to go through and figure out like
Which
which one, it's just
It's kind of wild.
stressful.
That sounds like hell. Nell used to tell me stories of like cables breaking with his pedal setup. Yeah, and that's when he was like, Divine Noise, really, they don't break. Like Wilco uses it, they're great. And I've been very happy. And I have tried all the cables that
Yeah.
people are like, this one,
Yeah.
this, no, you really, and I think they're all great for different
I'm
reasons.
sold.
This one, they're very practical and sweet people. So
cool.
Divine Noise. What else goes into guitars? What else are you get? Strings, picks, cables.
I guess we haven't talked about
Inlays?
tuners, but do
Inlays.
people care about
Who does your
tuners?
I could
Inlays.
talk about my cool
Tuning
inlays.
Inlays are so cool. Actually,
How
yeah,
about
tuning
these
and
amps?
those.
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious about now that you say that because did Flip do the inlays?
He did. So I love inlays. I've always loved inlays.
Yeah.
I always notice when people have cool inlays, and Flip is not an inlay person.
Wow.
So he did this for me. It was like he made an exception.
That's
He's
so
like,
sweet.
okay, you like inlays. But what he did was he took these are just like the Guild
Right.
inlays, and he just flipped them around and made these cool shapes out of them. So he kind of did
That's what that
something
is.
fun with it. I love this one. This one goes like over the bar line.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, I just think they're really fun.
they're beautiful. I've always been struck by that on that guitar, and I've never asked you about it, so I'm glad you pointed that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are this.
You two
these
have
are nothing.
dots?
Yeah, these are
This
dots.
is regular shit.
Nothing terribly exciting. Nothing close to that. Are those the original tuners or the original ratios?
Yeah. That was another thing that they said that the guy said maybe wasn't right. But this is some, I don't know, they work fine.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I just played a 50-to-1 ratio tuner. Do you know what? So like,
You just.
well, it's kind of like almost like a friction peg in a way. Like you can get everything in between. So
So if you whack them, do they go out? Is it easy to whack them and knock them out?
yeah, it's
of
really
tune?
impractical. I think that's what I was thinking about it. No, you know what's actually beautiful about the ones I wish I remember the guy who made them. I like kind of banjo tuner styles and whatnot, but they can be a pain in the butt, but they can get really in tune.
Yeah.
But these are they go this way, and it's just a knob on the back, like a circular knob that's kind of grippy, so it doesn't stick up like tuners.
Huh.
They're good for old like OMs or early Martins that who benefit from fine tuning. But 50-to-1 is pretty. That's like you have to turn it a lot to get it to move.
It's pretty grainy. It'd take you about an hour to change your string.
Oh yeah, forget it.
You gotta have it just drill on there.
Could you imagine? Yeah, you should go with the drill route at that point.
I think I'm going out of tune. So in the studio, these are usually cool with just, right, you don't need a separate amplifier for them or anything like that.
They should be alright. They might not get to the volume that your X's will get to.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure, so if you
So
need, like,
killing.
They're the best.
I love the way they feel.
They feel
Yeah.
amazing.
They're just like,
I mean, I always get, especially because I wear glasses, I get that
Oh,
headphone
yeah.
squeeze in the studio if
Yeah.
I use, usually whatever they have. It always happens, like an hour in, I have a headache.
Oh.
And
you
these-
get the triple threat mask, glasses, headphones.
Exactly.
It's like your ears
Exactly.
are like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
supposed to
God.
be doing one job.
I know,
here.
it's like squeeze this way and then pull from the
Yeah.
mask. But
Now listen.
but these don't do it. I don't get the headphone squeeze with these, so
That's
it's
so cool.
It's nice, more
yeah.
ergonomic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I love those headphones so much, Chris. They're
Yeah.
like, I don't know how I could mix without them now.
I know, that's how I feel too.
Right? I don't know how I could trust anything else.
That's amazing.
They like legitimately, I'm obsessed with them.
Yeah, if they sound good in these, it sounds good in anything.
Everything. And when shit doesn't sound good, when things don't sound good in these, they don't sound good in other things.
Yeah.
Like it's nice. That's my favorite feature. They're not hyping things that
Yeah,
are blinding
exactly.
us.
Have
know?
you watched any movies with them?
No, but what a good idea.
I watched Dune with
Oh, that's a cool soundtrack.
Fucking awesome. Oh, it was so,
Really?
no, it's just the sound.
The sound- I mean,
so
but it
big.
sounds
The
big.
sounds are
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
big.
yeah.
Like they purposely make those sounds like all over the place and huge. Yeah.
Oh, what a good idea.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Ooh,
yeah.
I'll take you up on that. I'm gonna
Yeah.
watch something.
Yeah. Some science fiction
Spacey stuff.
adventures.
Ventures. Yeah. Not like a documentary.
I still think
Yeah,
about
maybe-
what Trevor said. This is some Kubrick shit.
There's some Cooper. Yeah.
Kubrick would be good, yeah.
Cooper would be fantastic. You guys are such great guitar players.
Oh,
So looking forward. No, I realized I was just really. It's really cool to just be in close proximity to you while you hold guitars. So it's really crazy how differently we all even just hold them or
Likewise. No,
hang.
I
It's
know.
just fun to see. What's your amp of choice?
I have a Fender Princeton Reverb from '66. That's my favorite.
Oh,
But
that's
I
so
don't
cool.
often.
You don't play that kind of thing live, do you?
I don't bring
That's really-
amps a lot. I live in a fourth floor walk up, and I just and it's so light. I mean, that's no
Yeah.
excuse, but it's just
No, I get
laziness
it.
more than anything. But I do love that amp. But like I was saying earlier about the pickup, I feel like it sounds good out of so many
Anything.
amps. I mean, I usually request a twin,
Yeah.
just because I feel like they're generally, I know what I'm going to get, and I can get a pretty good sound out of
Yeah.
it. But I'm fairly flexible as far as amps go.
That's cool.
What about you two?
Yeah, Miles. What do you?
I don't have much at home because I just get the same thing. I
Same
just get
thing.
a twin. I have a twin at home, and then I use a quilter. I have like that Tone Block 200 Razor's Edge speaker, and then I have like a bunch of other sort of defunct things in the closet, But those two is basically all I use at home,
That's
and,
killer.
And then I liked it. What I saw you with that. What did you have at the Vanguard? You had a Fender Harvard.
Yeah, those are cool. Oh, that's right. You like those. Those are
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also I have the amp that came with this guitar,
Those are-
EH150, which has these tubes in the back that are like this tall.
They're so cool.
It's super cool looking. It's not. It's really noisy and stuff. It's crazy sounding,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
like you can't play it very loud, but it's
That's
pretty.
a great amp. That's a great combination.
Yeah.
I believe in amps having their guitar counterpart, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
kind of like they were sold back in the day.
Yeah.
I think their early Tweed Fenders work with early Tweed guitars really well, and I like that. And the early Gibsons and early Gibson amps are amazing.
Yeah.
Nothing does it like that. I use bass. It's like kind of like a deluxe, like a Black Panel deluxe, but it's made by a company called Magic Amplifiers. A guy named Mike Moody out
Oh, I've
west, and they're
heard of them,
great.
yeah.
They're just beautiful. In a way, it's pretty traditional to what those amps are supposed to do. I like his better than the old deluxes. Just a little darker. Sometimes 60s deluxes for me are like bright. They're on full
Yeah.
blast,
That's why I don't use deluxes as much, because it's a little
Right.
too bright for
It
me.
can be so bright, like brighter than a Princeton, like bright, like kind of sibilant. For many years, I used a 1958 Tweed Champ as my amp, and I traveled with 3.5 watts, and I took it to every gig. I flew with it, 8-inch speaker, and it was awesome. It was like having a governor, because I could never
Right.
go past a certain point. It compresses very early. So sound checks and things were fun because like this is my volume. I won't get any louder. It So I felt like it was akin to being like a tenor player, being like, this is how much sound I can produce, and I know it. Versus all the times where you're like, I could potentially be way louder than I want. And it was existentially very comforting. Just be like, nope, this is my little box. That's it. And I mic the front and the back. The back mic would give it kind of like a phantom low end, so it didn't sound like a practice amp as much. That was my favorite tone I ever had. And on record, it's usually a deluxe and a tweed champ simultaneously.
Oh, you don't have that amp anymore?
I have it. It's like a doorstop. It's at my friend's studio.
It's a doorstop.
I was telling her, I was like, get people to play. I'd love to sell it. They've just gone up a lot.
Yeah.
Harvards are. Do you know what a Harvard? Have you ever played
No,
Harvard?
I don't think I've ever played it.
Fender had their Ivy League concept of a Princeton and a Harvard. It was really, they were like, this will sell.
Is that it?
Yeah, they were like, this will be. It was student amps, you know, Ivy League student amps.
Wow.
So the Harvard is kind of like. It's kind of like a blown-up champ. It's a 10-inch speaker, but the circuitry is very simple. The champ is great because it's just one knob on or off, and that's your volume. Have you played a Harvard? It's the Steve Cropper sound, like the Tally Through Harvard is the classic Steve Cropper kind of thing. It's a cool amp. Are you looking for one?
No. I'm good.
I was gonna say you should borrow it at least. I mean, really, it's looking for a home. I probably won't sell it because I think the value will go up, but it bothers me that it just sits in a corner in my friend's studio because it's a good amp. Yeah. I think these sound.
These are fantastic. This is my first time playing one of these.
Same here.
It's fantastic.
I love the block. I used that at the Vanguard. It was plenty good for that room.
Wow.
Yeah.
I bet it was great in that room.
Yeah.
Is this also 200 watts like your block? Or do you know, is it the same? But they're mighty. It feels like there's power.
They pack it in. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then is it a 10-inch speaker? Or 12?
It's 12.
I like small cab 12s. Like that's oops. That's ZT. You all know the lunchbox.
Oh yeah, I have a lunchbox.
Do you remember
one of those too?
Nels and I used to tour with those.
Yeah, Nels has a bunch of them.
Oh, he's got they're all over his place. But they made a 12 called a Club, which was like the perfect New York amp, and I think they discontinued it. Anyway, I think this replaces that, and then some.
Yeah. But it's amazing. I just plugged it in. I'm usually futzing with things. If it's a new amp, I just plugged it in and was like, okay,
sounds like me.
good.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
Nice.
I actually like this reverb sound too. It's not too much, you know.
I don't know why I'm testing it because I never use reverb.
Are you without reverb?
I never use reverb, not on the amp. You know,
Yeah,
if I'm recording or something, you can add in some reverb, but or natural reverb. But I don't like reverb. Using reverb on an amp.
I really get it. Yeah, this is. Wow, that is longer.
I like to sound as abrasive as possible.
I'm a believer in no reverb.